Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to a grand celebration of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's 125th birth anniversary. We will begin by offering our sincere and loving prayers. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschita Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. We are blessed by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, who has presented us with this rarest opportunity to pursue Krishna consciousness, the only path that will lead us back home, back to Godhead. We are eternally thankful to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada for revealing this most confidential knowledge of Krishna consciousness to us, so that we may tame our hardened hearts with the nectar of the devotional service. We are eternally indebted towards Srila Prabhupada for establishing this purifying force of ISKCON that continuously sweeps us to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna. We started Hare Krishna Temple of Austin as a platform for preaching Krishna consciousness to the people of Austin and for spreading Vedic culture to everyone, especially the next generation. By Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy and the mercy of his pure disciples, we are growing day by day. Our temple is a spiritual platform where we fully practice Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission for all age groups without any bias towards caste, creed, color, or religion. In this fallen age of Kali, we sincerely and deeply pray to Srila Prabhupada on this 125th Appearance Day celebration to guide us, teach us, and empower us so that we may spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, foster and expand the Sankirtan movement, and always chant the holy name of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So with that, devotees, thank you for joining today. First, we will have soulful and heart-melting kirtan by Abhay Kulkarni Prabhu, and then we will have class by Abhay Charan Prabhu, and then followed by class by His Grace Abhisar Prabhu. With that, Hare Krishna Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna devotees. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today, Hare Krishna devotees, today we are going to sing a song, Yadi Prabhupada na hoite. The song is written by His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. He is a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So let us first read the meaning of the song. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? Who else would have distributed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world? Which other compassionate person would have endeavored to deliver the miscreants, sinful, impersonalistic, and voyeuristic people in the West? Who else would have come to distribute Harinama to them? Who else would have come forward to transform them into civilized beings? Who else would have taught them how to worship the deity form of Lord Hari day and night with Arati Kirtan, and how to conduct the Ratha Yatra and other grand festivals? Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita contain the essence of the nectarian mallows of love of Godhead. Who else would have explained these scriptures so clearly and beautifully? Who else would have tolerated all difficulties and distributed Harinama with a pleasant heart? Who would have given us the Dhamas such as Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri? The teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constitute the greatest and most auspicious treasure. Who else would have engaged us in constantly practicing and preaching it? Shri Shri Nitai Gaura are desire trees of love of Godhead. Desiring a drop of their mercy, Jai Pataka's heart incessantly takes shelter of your divine grace. Hare Krishna. So it is said that in the spiritual world, any prayer is your prayer. So we can take His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj's prayer and sing it as ourselves as an offering, as a prayer to Srila Prabhupada. यदि प्रभुपाद न होय तो तापे के होय तो जीवन बहिता के से यदि प्रभुपाद न होय तो तापे के होय तो जीवन बहिता के से निताई गौरे अपरा करुणा निताई गौरे अपरा करुणा यदि सकला देशे यदि प्रभुपाद न होय तो आवे के है तो जीवन बहिता के से जीवन बहिता के से पाश्चात्य आयाता पापी दुराचारी शून्यवादी मायावादी पाश्चात्य आयाता पापी दुराचारी शून्यवादी मायावादी तादेर उद्धार करिबारे मना तादेर उद्धार करिबारे मना है न को न दयानी यदि प्रभुपाद न होय तो भावे के है तो जीवन बहिता के से जीवन बहिता के से तादेर निकटे कौन जनाए से बिलाईता हरि नाम तादेर निकटे कौन जनाए से बिलाईता हरि नाम सभ्य जीवारूपे गरिते तदेरा सभ्य जीवारूपे गरिते तदेरा हेहैता गुयान यदि प्रभुपाद मुहैता जीवन वहिता कैसे देशे देशे हरि विग्रह सेवा आरती रात्रि दीने देशे देशे हरि विग्रह सेवा आरती रात्रि दीने रथ यात्रादि महोत्सव सभा रथ यात्रादि महोत्सव सभा शिकायता कौन जाने यदि प्रभुपाद न है तो आवे के है तो जीवन बहिता कैसे जीवन बहिता कैसे गीता भागवता चैतन्य चरिता प्रेमामृता रससार गीता भागवता चैतन्य चरिता प्रेमामृता रससार कटन सुंदर सरल करिया कटन सुंदर सरल करिया के बुझाए तार यदि प्रभुपाद न होय तो आवे के है तो जीवन बहिता कैसे जीवन बहिता कैसे कठ कष्ट सही प्रीत माने रहे केवादिता हरि नाम कठ कष्ट सहे प्रीत माने रहे केवादिता हरि नाम के दिता मोदेरा पुरी वृंदावना के दिता मोदेरा पुरी वृंदावना मायापुरा मत धाम यदि प्रभुपाद न है तो आवे के है तो जीवन बहिता कैसे जीवन बहिता कैसे परम मंगल श्री चैतन्य महा प्रभुरा शिक्षाधना परम मंगल श्री चैतन्य महा प्रभुरा शिक्षाधना आचार्य प्रचारे सदा मादेरे आचार्य प्रचारे सदा मादेरे के करिता नियोजन यदि प्रभुपाद न है तो भावे के है तो जीवन बहिता कैसे जीवन बहिता कैसे प्रेम कल्पतरु निताई गौरेरा कृपा कनाल विबारे प्रेम कल्पतरु निताई गौरेरा कृपा कनाल विबारे नितयावधि जय पताकार दया निरावधि जय पताकार दया तुम्हारा शरण कारे यदि प्रभुपाद है तो भावे की है तो जीवन बगीता के से निताई गौरेरा अपरा करुणा निताई गौरेरा अपरा करुणा यदिता सकल देशे यदि प्रभुपाद है भावे के है तो जीवन बहिता के जीवन बहिता के जीवन बहिता के हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaura Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaura Hare Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, that was such a beautiful, heart-melting kirtan. And the song you sang, Yadi Prabhupada na hote, is so true. What would we do? What would happen to us without Prabhupada? How would we all have come together here and got the mercy and led this path of bhakti? So very beautiful bhajan, Prabhu. Thank you so much, and beautiful kirtan. Thank you so much. With that, we move to our next segment of the program. We have His Grace Avacharan Prabhu will be glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna devotees. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutala Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tanami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pichara Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Distha. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, that was very nice, and as Mataji said, it's heart-melting and heart-touching. Very Prabhupada na hota hai. So that I've been asked to.
Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji, I don't know if it's just me, but the volume is a little low.
Volume is low, Mataji?
Yeah, now it's much better. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. I'll come a bit closer.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So, I was saying, thank you, Prabhu, for very nice, heart-melting kirtan and the bhajan Yadi Prabhupada na hota hai. It's a fact that Yadi Prabhupada na hota hai, today we won't be even meeting here and talking about Prabhupada or Krishna consciousness, or even we would not have all the amazing. Can you hear me, Prabhu? No. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. I got some message that day. So we all know Srila Prabhupada, obviously, from the point of view that we are reading his books. We are hearing classes from his disciples, his followers throughout the world. And we're all meeting because of Srila Prabhupada. So we'll just to see a brief history of how Srila Prabhupada came to America and why he came to America and the history, a slightly history behind this. So Srila Prabhupada, as we all know, he came to America in 1965 and to spread this movement of Krishna consciousness. It's mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavata that Prithvivache, the whole world will know about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is incarnation of Krishna himself as a devotee. So every town and village, his name will be spread. Krishna's name will be spread. Lord Chaitanya's name will be spread. This was predicted 500 years ago. And that prediction was fulfilled by Srila Prabhupada. And when he came in 1965 to America. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, it's amazing how everything was set by Sri Krishna. In the sense that Srila Prabhupada was hardly had any money. He was practically penniless, but still he was thinking of spreading this culture of Krishna consciousness throughout the world. And he was meditating and practically preparing to do something which so that he can spread this message throughout the world. So in 1 year, in 1965, he got a free ticket to America. He could have gone anywhere in the world because his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, asked him to preach this message of Krishna consciousness throughout the world in English. Because at that time, English was very prevalent and the whole world knew this language. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked him to spread this message in English. So with that, this message, he got it in 1922 and then later again in 1930s from his guru. So Srila Prabhupada was meditating how he can spread this message throughout the world, throughout the English-speaking world and throughout the world. So for many years, from 1920, 1930s, up to 1965, he was meditating. In 1965, he got a free ticket to US. So he came in Jaladuta, a steamship, which took a month from India, Calcutta, to reach Boston in America. So in that, Srila Prabhupada, when he landed in US, he hardly had even 40 rupees, which is practically like nothing. In fact, it was around $7 or something in his pocket that he came to US. But he had Bhagavatam, a trunk full of Bhagavatam, up to the first canto. And then with that, he started his mission in America. So prior to Srila Prabhupada coming, it's amazing if we see the history of ISKCON, that the whole counterculture was building up in America. People, the whole world wanted to live a very comfortable life. So when they wanted to live a comfortable life, but America started already coming to a higher standard of living, and people were already living, practically everyone in America were living a very comfortable life. But now the new generation that came up later on, they started feeling like a norm. I mean, like everyone is comfortable. So what? I mean, like I have all the riches, I have all the comforts of life, I have everything that a materialistic man can think of. So that led to insatisfaction in their hearts, and then they started looking for something truthful. They started looking for something truth. I mean, what is the higher truth? Higher truth. And somehow they came to understand that taking drugs, people became spiritually elevated. That's how they started thinking about it. And then people started taking drugs, and when the hallucinations that they had, or when they went higher in their because of drugs, when they got higher, they felt that that is spiritual life. And that's when exactly when Srila Prabhupada landed in America and he started his movement. And people started, then Srila Prabhupada gave them what they were actually looking for. In the sense, they were looking for higher consciousness, higher spiritual life. They were genuinely searching for truth, but they didn't have any direction. All that they knew was maybe from East. The spiritual science comes from East, somewhere in maybe India and China. That's how they were thinking. And then that's when Srila Prabhupada actually came and landed America. And then he just gave them what is the science of Krishna consciousness, which helped them keep the higher consciousness throughout. In the sense, once one American, he asked India, what is Krishna conscious like? How does it feel? And Srila Prabhupada said, it's a room full of heroin, like psychedelic drugs. So people were addicted to drugs. So they thought that taking drugs was very satisfying and kept them high. So Srila Prabhupada said, okay, it is Krishna consciousness is something, it's like drug which will keep you high forever. And that statement of Prabhupada actually summarizes the whole Krishna conscious movement, that people want higher consciousness, and that higher consciousness, not it's just for a momentarily when people take drugs and then come down after the effects of drugs go down, but a person can stay higher in consciousness throughout their life and remain higher in consciousness. The Krishna consciousness gives highest bliss, happiness, and it's a perfection of life. But that has to be learned and studied under a bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic line of succession. So Srila Prabhupada is the 32nd Acharya in the disciplic line of succession, starting right from Lord Krishna himself. So an Acharya, a founder Acharya, is one who establishes the ground rules of Krishna God consciousness in such a way that it is beneficial and applicable in the particular age. Like there are so many acharyas, Ramanujacharya Acharya has come, Lord Chaitanya has come, Madhvacharya has come. So each acharya comes and establishes Krishna consciousness or God consciousness applicable at that time, and so that based on the maturity of the people at that particular moment in the history of time, they can follow. So and then the founder acharya or the eminent acharyas, when they come, like Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, when they come, they establish the rules, and the rest of the acharyas follow those principles, and then they spread the names of Krishna, and everyone else follows in that. Then what happens is, as Krishna says, over a period of time, the science of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness just goes down one by one. So then either Krishna will come, or he'll send his very eminent prominent devotees to re-establish the science of God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is one such a major acharya, that he came and established the ground rules for this Kali Yuga. And how we all can follow. After Srila Prabhupada, there are so many Srila Prabhupada disciples and followers who are spreading this movement of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness throughout the world. But they're all based on the rules set by Srila Prabhupada. Of course, these rules and regulations, everything is scriptural. It's not that Prabhupada has thought some new ideas and then he's presenting it. No. But the rules and regulations and the principles of God consciousness have to be established by a specific acharya, and that's Srila Prabhupada. In fact, Srila Prabhupada is an acharya which who has done that no other acharya in the history of mankind has established. For example, in the world, when Srila Prabhupada, before starting this movement, practically no one heard of Hare Krishna mantra ever in this world, outside of India at least. So it was not even known. But in just few years, that is 12 years of his time, he practically spread this name as a household name. Even if today, when we go out with our marking on our head, on our forehead, if we go out and some stranger will come and say, "Oh, you're from Hare Krishna." So just by chanting the name of Krishna once in their life, they are making immense progress in their spiritual life. So just by seeing someone, they're able to say Hare Krishna. So that privilege or that access to Krishna consciousness was made possible because of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gave books. He wrote more than 80 books, and now they are spread in so many languages throughout the world. Practically every language in Srila Prabhupada books are available even in Arabic language. Even in all the Muslim countries, people are reading his books. And it is mentioned that these books will last for the next 10,000 years throughout the history of in the future to come. And then these books are the law books for the next 10,000 years on spiritual guidance. So Srila Prabhupada is a founder Acharya who has established this. He established how the deity worship to go on. He established how Bhagavatam should be spread. He established how the whole throughout the world books should be spread, how his teaching should be taught, and anyone who strictly follows is sure to guarantee to go back home, back to Godhead. So we are, in fact, we all devotees are extremely fortunate that we are in a time where just following what Srila Prabhupada has given, we don't have to reinvent the wheel or anything. Just by following what Srila Prabhupada has given, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So the process, Srila Prabhupada made it so easy and so wonderful. That was his divine grace mercy. So his struggles, there are so many struggles that he's gone through. There are so many difficulties faced so that he can give us this particular mission in our life. So with one more point, I'll end, since we're almost out of time. I'll end with one more point. Once Srila Prabhupada's recent, maybe 20, 30 years ago, in Vrindavan, there is Srila Prabhupada's Murti. It's where his Samadhi is there. And that Murti, once a man came out from somewhere and then he saw the Murti, and he was looking at that Murti in a very, very studying way. He was looking at that Murti and he was studying that Murti. And then just when another devotee passed by, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" That devotee says, "What is it?" Then that person asked, "Can I meet this person? I want to talk to him." So he said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada left this plant in 1977. So what is the message?" Then he was shocked and he said, "I don't know who this person is, but I don't know what he has done. But I study faces. I mean, like he studies faces, and based on his face, he can tell about what the person is." So he said, "This person has the facial structure like as if you have combined all the great acharyas in one person, like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, all the great persons have come together in this one person." So that was Srila Prabhupada. And we'll have Satsar Prabhu elaborate even more for us. So with that, I'll end. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. And we pray to Srila Prabhupada that throughout the life we can follow in his footsteps, his teachings, and then we can make our life perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was such a beautiful glorification of Srila Prabhupada. And the stories you narrated and how Prabhupada came to America and how he changed the hippies. And I really like the point you said that Krishna conscious is a drug which will keep us high forever. And that is so true. Once we get into Krishna consciousness, we just want to be here and do more services and follow the instructions. So very wonderful glorification, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And we are so fortunate that we all are here together celebrating Srila Prabhupada's 125th birth anniversary. Once again, thank you, devotees, for joining. With that, we move on to our next program. His Grace Satyasara Prabhu will be giving a class on Srila Prabhupada's glories. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Abhichan Prabhu, for the brilliant glorification of Srila Prabhupada. So with that, let us start with Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Desha Tarine Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dina Taranam. So today is, as Veena Mataji described, 125th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, his appearance day. I specifically want to, I've been thinking about it today, specifically want to speak about the 2 points actually, importance of worshipping Srila Prabhupada, why we should observe Vyasa Puja and why we should worship him. Second is recognizing his distinctive position among acharyas. So Abhichan Prabhu touched on that beautifully. So whatever I'm going to speak on the distinctive position of Srila Prabhupada will be just simply a decoration to what Prabhu has beautifully spoken. So I'm going to start like this. By his life's dedication, Srila Prabhupada has changed, as we all know, millions of people's hearts and lives. By his presence both in Vani means through his instructions. So we can see Prabhupada's teachings and instructions in his books, in his lectures, and so on. And the second is Vapu. Vapu means through his personal example. He touched so many people's lives, and we all are an example of that. So we are in America, but we are practicing bhakti, Krishna consciousness. That's because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy and unparalleled compassion towards the living entities. So there is a beautiful verse I was reading today from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Prabhupada often quotes this verse in his purports in Srimad Bhagavatam and also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, he speaks in his lectures as well. The verse is Kali Kalera Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana Krishna's Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. So I'm going to paraphrase the translation by Srila Prabhupada. It means the foundational religious system in the age of Kali is congregational chanting of Lord's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this verse says, unless one has been invested with the potency given by Lord Krishna. So that's what this verse says. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. Krishna Shakti. Unless you are invested with the Krishna Shakti to spread the holy name, one is not empowered to do that service. Meaning you cannot preach pure devotional service, Krishna consciousness to people, unless you are invested by Krishna's potency. So Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse multiple times In his purports, lectures, as I said, to emphasize that the preaching is not an ordinary mundane affair. It's not just reading books, developing knowledge and speaking. Yeah, there is some impact. But if we practice it and if we develop bhakti in our heart, then we can give bhakti to others. You can only give what you have. So it's like that. So Krishna consciousness can be distributed only by one who is specifically empowered by Krishna, that is Krishna Shakti. So the perfect example, I was meditating on this verse. The perfect example of this verse is our Srila Prabhupada. Just look at the potency. Abhishek Prabhu very nicely explained it. So I'm going to cut short some of it. The potency of Srila Prabhupada. He understood the confidential details of bhakti. If you read his Bhagavatam purports, it's so amazing. It's so illuminating explanations of the confidential details of bhakti. And another thing is he's so glorious. He's glorious for revealing them. He's revealing the details of bhakti. The great acharyas, the great devotees were born and they realized the great level of details, the confidential subject matter of bhakti. But Srila Prabhupada is so glorious because he did not keep it within himself. He was revealing them. He revealed that to everybody, not just only to people of India, but all over the world. So he's glorious for revealing the confidential details of bhakti and making them accessible. That is another aspect, and making them available to the whole world, regardless of what your status is. That is glorious activity, and Prabhupada is so glorious for that. Because Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, we all know this famous verse, he says, Raja Vidya Raja Guyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Sushukam Kartam Avyayam. Meaning, this knowledge or this bhakti is king of education, Raja Vidya, and the most secret of all secrets, Raja Guyam. It's the purest knowledge, Pavitram Idam Uttamam. And because it gives a direct perception of this perception of Krishna. So that's why it's called Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam. It's a perfection of religion. So Krishna himself is saying, Bhagavad Gita, it's a super secret. So although the subject matter of bhakti, Krishna consciousness, is so confidential, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to have it understood and practiced in every town and village. This is Mahaprabhu's desire. Manobhishtam is the inner desire, actually. So Srila Prabhupada took that desire of Mahaprabhu, and he distributed the confidential details of bhakti to everybody, to everyone in the world. If you go to any town or village, pretty much in the world, you can see Krishna consciousness. You can see ISKCON temple centers or devotees. So Srila Prabhupada was is Mahaprabhu's representative who fulfilled that vision. So the fact that Srila Prabhupada was able to make the subject matter of bhakti so easily accessible to almost anyone is proof that he has invested with Krishna Shakti that I was referring to, the verse I quoted. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. So that is Srila Prabhupada's distinctive position. Why we need to understand this way Prabhupada's position first? Because if you understand Prabhupada's position, then we can properly worship him. So that knowledge is extremely important. And not only that, beyond the teachings of bhakti principles is the power to guide others to actually develop their love for Krishna. Because developing love for Krishna is the ultimate goal of human existence, basically. And it's not just teaching the principles of bhakti, but you have to guide them, you guide people. Srila Prabhupada guided hundreds and thousands of people towards the ultimate goal of developing pure love for Krishna. As I said, you can only give what you have. So Prabhupada had that bhakti, pure bhakti. He was able to distribute it purely, and he was able to transfer the bhakti from his heart to his disciples' hearts. So how did he do that? I mean, he did that by demonstrating his pure bhakti by his own behavior. That's number one point. Yeah, speaking the principles of bhakti is one thing, but living by those principles is the most effective and most important thing. And Srila Prabhupada was able to touch people's hearts and change their lives. It's by his own behavior, number one. Second, by his character, impeccable character based on Krishna conscious values. And by his example also. So this is another point, Srila Prabhupada's distinctive position or unique position actually. Not only speaking, but also practicing and be a great example. So there is a beautiful verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about the pure devotees. It says, the pure devotees are just like autumn rain, which simultaneously adds to the lakes and rivers and helps them to flow clearly also. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada simultaneously it purifies many hearts through these books. Just read his books and our heart will be cleansed and we'll have an inspiration to chant and practice bhakti. So Srila Prabhupada simultaneously purifies many hearts and sprinkles the seed of bhakti so that people's spiritual life can begin and grow as well. So once, for preaching purposes, Jai Subhadra and I told the story many times, but I want to repeat this. We went to Anchorage, Alaska. From the Anchorage, there is a city called Wasilla, which is almost 40 miles drive from Anchorage. So deep, close to Mount Denali or something like that. We found an American lady practicing bhakti. And we asked her, how did she get introduced? She said she was doing some online shopping or something. She came across Prabhupada books and she just ordered the books and she read it and she became a devotee. There's nobody preached to her. She just interacted with, read Srila Prabhupada books with faith. And she started to chant 16 rounds. She became a vegetarian. She got Krishna pictures and started to worship. So that's the potency, the power of Srila Prabhupada. He purifies the hearts and sprinkles the seed of bhakti so that people's spiritual life can begin and grow as well. So therefore, we must honor Srila Prabhupada's distinctive position on this holy and auspicious appearance day. So generally in India, we follow Guru Purnima, the day in which people celebrate Guru or worship Guru, which is very authentic and yeah, it's good. However, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Prabhupada's spiritual master. He said that, well, Vaishnavas are much more personal than that. So we celebrate Guru or worship our Guru on the day of his appearance day, on the day of his appearance, the actual appearance day. So from that onwards, it's become a custom that we worship and glorify our spiritual master on his appearance day. In other words, each individual guru who makes his appearance in this material world has great significance. So they are not ordinary souls. All Vaishnava gurus, regardless of which sampradaya they belong to, they all are worthy of our worship. But still, we make a small distinction among different types of Vaishnavas, because making distinction and acting according to that, the proper distinction and acting according to that is extremely important for advancement of bhakti, especially in a sadhana stage, sadhana bhakti stage. So one of the distinctions is that there is the Diksha Guru and Siksha Guru. Both are almost same. But you can have only one Diksha Guru, you can have multiple Siksha Gurus, but both are same almost. They are given greater respect. This is our scripture. So that's one distinction. So all the Vaishnavas across the sampradaya, bona fide sampradayas, are worthy of our worship, worthy of our respect. Then you make a distinction between them and Diksha Guru and Siksha Guru, and they are given greater respect. But devotees in general should be given respect. That is also a principle. Whether they are Guru or not, but they're practicing devotees, they should be given respect. So that's the general instruction for people who doesn't have much scriptural knowledge. You have to worship somebody who is spiritual, respect them. But one who is a serious devotee with more knowledge will make some distinctions. So the respect and the worship will increase with knowledge. That's the important point. Otherwise, you don't understand what is worthy of our respect, what is worthy of our worship. We don't understand. But that increases with knowledge, with spiritual knowledge. So one chooses Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru because they have greater spiritual status in our life. Through Diksha Guru, we get mantra. And through Shiksha Guru, we get instructions. So both mantra and instructions are very important for our spiritual advancement. You cannot just say, okay, only Diksha Guru or only Shiksha Guru. You need both. So although the scriptures are always available, we should hear through the mouth of a devotee. So therefore, any devotee who teaches scriptures is also Guru because they're teaching scriptures. So therefore, we have to respect that particular persons, and we do that on their appearance days. Very important. So that's the Diksha and Shiksha Guru. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, he makes it very clear. Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam, he says. 17th chapter. Yeah. One should worship the Supreme Lord. Deva means is Lord of the Lords. Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, Dvija, and Guru, spiritual master, and Pragya, the superiors, father and mother, and elders, worthy of worship. So, of course, scriptures also say one should worship one's Guru as one worships the Supreme Lord. Very, very important point. You should worship your Guru as you worship your Supreme Lord. Guru means here Diksha and Shiksha. So there's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says that Guru Krishna Rupa Hane Sastra Pramane Guru Rupa Krishna Kripa Karane Bhakta Gane, meaning according to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna in the form of spiritual master delivers his devotees. So Srila Prabhupada writes beautifully in that purport. He says that the relationship of a disciple with a spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. It's very simple, very profound also. Prabhupada puts it. A spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifested representation of Godhead. This is Prabhupada's statement. We need to memorize these things. So this does not mean that Guru all of a sudden changes his status from Jiva to Ishvara. We don't lose our identity. We perform the role of a Guru in guiding people and teaching them the Vedic knowledge and so on. But we're still a Jiva. We will never become Ishvara. Ishvara means the controller, God. So, but one should worship the Guru as one worships the Supreme Lord. In fact, to read Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Krishna himself tells this to Uddhava. He says, I'm very pleased when my devotee is worshipped. Mad Bhakta Puja Abhyadika Sarva Bhuteshu Manmati. When Krishna is pleased when his devotee is worshipped in a Abhyadika, means superlative, like a first class way. So the Supreme Lord is happy when he sees his devotees worshipped. At the same time, we should not worship only the devotee and neglect the worship of the Lord. That's an important point, because whole purpose of Guru Tattva, if you see the spirit of Guru Tattva, I'm going to put it very simply, is to encourage us to worship the Supreme Lord. So that's at the end of the day, one line statement of what Guru Tattva is. So if you do not follow that instruction, then you become very sentimental, very emotional and you worship only your guru, then you are just violating the essential instruction of Guru Tattva. Then it becomes Guru Avagya. Guru Avagya meaning disobedience of the order of Guru. Huh? So Guru has to be worshipped more than we worship other devotees. That's a distinction we make. But Guru is Guru, and we have to worship the Supreme Lord as well. Okay, the very famous what do you say? A great Acharya, and very famous for his writings on Guru Tattva, Narahari Thakur. He says he looks at Guru in a different angle. He says, Guru should be seen as a spiritual father. One should give special respect to one's father, even material father. We give special respect because of the shelter that he provides or provided. So, but one gives double respect to grandfather, isn't it? So gives respect to father, and one gives double respect to one's father's father. So even among gurus, there are different levels of respect given. This is another distinction you have to make. So you have a guru, and you are guru's guru, and you are guru's guru's guru. So there are different levels of respect given to them. So we have guru, then we have guru of the guru, and we have to give more respect to him. So we can see many examples, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, where this principle is followed by great personalities. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see these principles. Just one example I can think of is Swayambhavu Manu. He advises Priyavrata Maharaj to accept the responsibility of universal emperor. But Priyavrata Maharaj said, no, I cannot take it. He declined to follow Swayambhavu Manu's advice. He said, I am going to take Nivritti mark, in the sense the renunciation, path of renunciation recommended by Narada, because Narada is Guru. He said, I am going to follow Narada's instruction. Then Lord Brahma descended at that time. Lord Brahma is Narada's Guru. He descended to encourage Priyavrata Maharaj to accept Swayambhavu Manu's will, that it is a responsibility and you have to be a universal emperor. Then Priyavrata Maharaj accepted Brahma's words. So here you can see Narada is his guru, but Narada's guru is Brahma, and Brahma says, then Priyavrata Maharaj accepted that. It doesn't mean that he neglected Narada's instruction, but he harmonized both the instructions and he went with what Brahma said. So this is how, so we make a distinction based on knowledge. Even within gurus, there are different levels of respect given, and one gives more respect to guru's guru. It's very simple. So in our Sampradaya, we have founder Acharya, which is Srila Prabhupada. And we have Madhavacharya also, who is the head of Brahma Madhava Sampradaya. He's a founder Acharya of Brahma Madhava Sampradaya from Udupi. And one of the branches of that is Brahma Madhava Sampradaya, Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, that is headed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And within Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, there are many Diksha and Siksha lines, many branches. They are bona fide branches, bona fide lines. So in the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is Prabhupada's disciple, and our Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we are a bona fide Diksha and Siksha line coming from Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. So ISKCON carries on the lineage started by Srila Prabhupada. Of course, the teachings of Srila Prabhupada is non-different from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and so on. But Prabhupada formed a particular organization. He gave an institutional identity to bhakti practice that is called ISKCON. He formed a particular organization and then organized in a particular way. Why? To preserve and propagate the teachings of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya to one and all. So that is something we need to understand. So ISKCON is not it looks like it's a English, of course it's an English word and acronym, but it is coming from the bona fide sampradaya. Huh? So Prabhupada gave an institutional identity for the Western country, and of course for all over the world, is to preserve the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and propagate the teachings. So Prabhupada envisioned that this movement will go on for thousands and thousands of years. So that means the teachings has to be preserved and propagated. Very important point. And one way of doing that is to recognize the position of our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. So a very special respect given to Srila Prabhupada all time. So this is the main distinction we have to make. So there are different gurus, there are gurus, and there is founder Acharya, as Abhichan Babu was talking about. So this is the main distinction we have to make if we are as followers of Lord Chaitanya. So we'll have many gurus, one Diksha and many Siksha gurus, as I said. But the instruction is to respect them equally. But one respects guru more, as I said earlier. Therefore, we have to give special respect to Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada, and he has his disciples, and his disciples have made disciples, and they become guru. So this is going to continue, but still Srila Prabhupada is given greater respect because he is founder Acharya. So this is the principle of respecting gurus. I mean, this is Guru Tattva, so I wanted to, in the interest of time, I want to go a little faster. So this is the principle of respecting gurus. It's neophytes, they cannot think beyond their own guru or whatever. They cannot respect other gurus or other advanced devotees and things like that. But we need to develop this knowledge, not just to have a bookish knowledge, but to apply this. So, and also worshipping Srila Prabhupada, recognizing Srila Prabhupada's distinctive position as founder Acharya in the movement is also, if I were thinking about it, it is also a practical measure for everyone to worship Srila Prabhupada, and because that creates a unity. It's a very important point to understand. As I said, Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, and his disciples made disciples, his disciples are going to make disciples. So there's going to be multiple levels of guru. And in order for all of us to stay together and just preserve and propagate the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, we need unity. And recognizing Srila Prabhupada as founder Acharya brings unity. We have many Diksha gurus in our movement, and each individual devotee worships only his or her guru. Then it creates a lot of disunity, disharmony. That is going to really affect Srila Prabhupada's movement. So that's why Srila founder Acharya has to be given a special position and special respect and special worship. So that creates a unity among various devotees. So if we give more prominent worship to Srila Prabhupada, it creates unity among devotees. So Srila Prabhupada is the unifying force within ISKCON that holds everything together. If you miss on that point and we just focus very narrow-mindedly, then this movement is going to disintegrate, like many movements, great movements, bhakti movements disintegrated. If you read history of bhakti, so we need to. It's a big responsibility for all of us to stay united and move forward with the mission that Srila Prabhupada gave it to us. And another reason for this special worship is that Srila Prabhupada established, as Abhichan Prabhupada was talking about, the basic rules that he established. He established the basic knowledge that should be known and practiced and studied within Krishna consciousness, within ISKCON for all future generations. It's a very important. Srila Prabhupada gave the basic knowledge as a founder Acharya. And this basic knowledge is not basic in the sense that it is a low level. It's a highest level. It's a conclusive truth. But Prabhupada put it in a way it can be easily understood, practiced, and studied, and passed on. Since his books are the basis for the movement, so we need to give special respect for that reason also to Srila Prabhupada. Very, very special respect. So one way we do this is every day that's why we do a Guru Puja for Srila Prabhupada in all ISKCON temples and centers who are open on weekdays. Every day. If you're not, center is not open, your temple is not open, you do at home. We do Guru Puja for Srila Prabhupada. Of course, we also do Guru Puja for our individual Guru every day. We recite Guru Gayatri, mantra glorifying the Guru. And we worship our own Guru as well every day. So by doing Guru Puja, we worship Srila Prabhupada. Another way to worship Srila Prabhupada is on his appearance day. Today is the appearance day, so we perform very special worship for Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada also said this, what is the use of all these worship ceremonies and rituals, very strictly you follow to worshiping Prabhupada and this and that, if you don't even follow my instructions? So what Prabhupada is telling here is that the actual way we worship Srila Prabhupada is read his books, distribute his books, follow his instructions given in the books, and pass it on to the next generation. Give it to our children, give it to our children, and give it to the next generation of people. Preach to others. Read, practice, then preach. So he did not want this movement simply to stop growing. If you see, he wanted his movement to continually expanding. So we should never stop our preaching endeavor. It's a very, very important instruction of Srila Prabhupada. It's desire. We are not a static movement. We are a dynamic movement. We learn, practice ourselves, become a good devotee, good human being, good devotee. Then you preach the principles. So he wanted this movement to continually expanding, so we should never stop our preaching endeavor. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada made it very easy. Even preaching is also not tough, and practice is also not tough. Srila Prabhupada devised some of the means by which we can carry out the preaching for generations to come. He translated, he wrote and published many books for us to learn the Vedic knowledge, the knowledge of scriptures. He also encouraged devotees to read and distribute them. He gave enough inspiration in those books. He established festivals such as Janmashtami that we celebrated yesterday. Beautifully, all over the world, devotees celebrated Janmashtami. He established Rath Yatra, Gaura Purnima, Ram Navami, you name it. So many festivals. He taught us how to celebrate these festivals. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. To encourage why? The festivals are the important means to encourage people to get exposed to Krishna and the holy names. Srila Prabhupada gave that. He established Sunday Feast program to distribute the knowledge and prasadam. He established the process of chanting the holy names. And Sankirtan party to distribute the holy names. He also established specialized preaching strategies also, if you observe, such as he established Bhakti Vedanta Institute to preach the message of bhakti to scientists in a very intellectual, scientific way to the scientists. Prabhupada's, it's a pet project. It's a very specialized preaching program. So there are many ways we can expand the preaching. So therefore we have expanded into field of teaching children. Where does that come from? That comes from Srila Prabhupada's vision. We have Sunday school, Saturday school, Friday school, you name it, Monday school for children. That is Srila Prabhupada. College programs, Bhakti Yoga clubs, the specialized preaching. So in this way, we have various ways by which we can preach. We have temples to associate with devotees and practice, learn how to apply the principles. Then we have many ways Srila Prabhupada has given us where we can preach. Think of since the time of Srila Prabhupada, it has been more than 50 years. He has established preaching. Since that time, the society has changed radically. You all agree with me? 30 years ago, when the movement was very different, the preaching strategies were very different. Now, if you see, I see a radical change in every aspect of our living. The communication system has changed radically. So it has been a very great advancement in technology, communication, printing, you name it. So the advantage is we can use them for preaching. So we can preach in different ways. Use the advancement of technology. We should somehow expose people to Krishna and teach them the principles of bhakti from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Prabhupada's desire. We are not meant to just read something at home and whatever, learn something and just to practice at home. No, we are a preaching movement. Preaching is not that you have to preach in front of 1,000 people. It can be, according to your comfort zone, and eventually we can grow. So when we preach, of course, we need to preach according to time, place, and circumstance. But the key is Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this instruction. He says that you preach according to time, place, and circumstance without changing the conclusive truths of founder Acharya. Important point, important instruction. So I'm going to be very innovative because the world is changing, the technology is advancing, and yes, but we cannot change the basic teachings of our founder Acharya, the conclusive truths of our founder Acharya. That's our purity. But we can change the methodology in which we preach and make it more accessible, more understandable, more practical for people. So there are certain things we cannot change. That is conclusive truths of a founder Acharya. Other things, yes, we can change. There is a method of preaching, like social media we can use to preach. It devises new ways to connect with youngsters. I'll come up with a course or something which grown-ups can participate so they can easily relate to addressing their problems from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. So we have to be very carefully, again, this is another distinction we have to distinguish what we can change and what we cannot change with the help of our authorities. And we implement the strategies depending on time, place, and circumstance, and we connect. There will always be people who will criticize, become very envious. They try to create problems to our preaching and whatnot. It happened to Srila Prabhupada during Srila Prabhupada's manifest pastimes. You can read that from Lilamrita. Some people criticize Srila Prabhupada's method of preaching. And Srila Prabhupada acknowledged that in the critics in his purports, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita purports. But one thing Srila Prabhupada really emphasized, which really struck a chord with me. Srila Prabhupada emphasized that he received the order to preach in the disciplic succession and that he was strictly following the order. This is how Prabhupada answered them in his purports. I received the order to preach from my authorities in disciplic succession, and I was strictly following the order. So therefore, as his followers, we must have complete faith that by distributing Krishna consciousness purely, according to Prabhupada's order, we are presenting the true conclusions of the disciplic succession perfectly. So we don't need to worry about anybody and anything. Krishna will take care of it. So we need to have that unflinching faith, unshakable faith in Srila Prabhupada's order, because Prabhupada wanted this movement to grow, and he wants us to preach. We are not preaching for money, name, and fame. We are just genuinely presenting the message of Srila Prabhupada. That's our perfection. So we should not worry too much about those who are outside of the realm, who cannot understand or see through Srila Prabhupada's empowerment. They can speak something, criticize something. That should not deter us from marching on this noble mission. So if we sincerely want to follow Srila Prabhupada, then we should seriously think about how to increase the exposure of general public to Krishna's holy name. If we do that, then we will please Srila Prabhupada. So this will allow the movement to continue to grow. As we discussed, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Lord Chaitanya's movement should spread into every town and village. Srila Prabhupada already built the framework and he accomplished it. Now we have to preserve the movement into the future, carry on this into the future. Srila Prabhupada did it. Now the responsibility is on our shoulders. We have to give it to our children, our children's children, and many children. We first practice, we give it to them. So we have to preserve and we have to propagate it. So in order to fulfill this instruction of Mahaprabhu, we need to have imagination, thinking about it. We need to have innovation. We need to have a vision to expand the preaching. Srila Prabhupada is an excellent example of this. He thought that the teachings of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya should be given to all people of the world. So with unshakable determination, how much trouble Prabhupada faced. He came to Western world and preached, established the Krishna conscious movement. Now we have a lot of work to do. We need to take the teachings of Srila Prabhupada very seriously and practice. And every town, we have to spread it in every town and village. We should not think that, okay, my job is finished. Okay, I'm done, enough service, and this and that. No. So we need to take the movement forward into the future. So that's a responsibility we all carry on our shoulders. And that's the real worship of Srila Prabhupada, by working on that responsibility. So that's the real spirit of Srila Prabhupada. So we need to keep this in our mind while practicing our bhakti, Krishna consciousness. I know we are going over time. I'll stop here. So therefore, on this blessed occasion of Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, let's glorify Srila Prabhupada's distinctive position and offer our worship to him. Also, we should pray to Srila Prabhupada, our grandfather, Guru, for his blessings, so we can preserve and carry our movement into the future. So that's our prayer and meditation. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada appearance day Mahotsav ki jai. Over to you, Radha Prabhu.
Thank you, Satyasara Prabhuji. This is amazing session you gave. You have told us about the importance of the Guru Tattva and special importance of Srila Prabhupada on this auspicious occasion. Thank you very much for educating all of us, and we had to make sure that we are follow all the instructions you mentioned.
Thank you.
So before we conclude, we have some announcements, as well as our program, one kirtan by Abhay Kulkarni Prabhu about the Narsimha prayers. Narsimha prayers will be sung by Abhay Kulkarni Prabhu. So let me give a quick announcement. Today, as you all know, today is the 125th anniversary of birth anniversary of Srila Prabhupada, and to mark this occasion, Government of India has released a commemorative coin of value of rupees 125 in the honor of Srila Prabhupada, the ISKCON founder Acharya. A booklet on this contribution and achievement of Srila Prabhupada will be featured with each box of coin. So if you are interested, if you would like to give an order, please talk to Jai Subhadra Mataji. She will be able to help you with that. So this would be a wonderful thing to have. So please try to get a copy of it. And besides that, we have the next Sunday. Next Sunday is a very special program we have. We are going to continue today's glorification of Srila Prabhupada. Every devotee will have a chance. I think everybody has been signed up already. And the program starts from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So everyone will get a chance to glorify Srila Prabhupada. So please be there this Sunday. It's going to be a very auspicious things we have to do. Okay? And with that, I will hand over to Abhay Kulkarni Prabhu for the Narsimha prayer.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Namaste Narsimhaya Prahlad Daine. Namaste Narsimhaya Prahlad शीलाटङ्कान् खलाय हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः शीलाटङ्कान् खलाय इतो नशिमो भरतो नशिमो यतो यतो यामि ततो नशिमो इतो नशिमो भरतो नशिमो यतो यतो यामि ततो नशिमो भवे नशिमो हृदये नशिमो शिङ्गमदिं शरणं प्रपदे भवे नशिमो हृदये नशिमो नशिङ्गमदिं शरणं प्रपदे अवकरकमलवरेण कामभ्युत शृङ्गां दालिता हिरण्यकशिपुतनुभृङ्गम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे अवकर कमलवरेण कामभ्युत शृङ्गार दालिता हिरण्यकशिपुतनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरहरि नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय भक्त प्रहलाद भक्त प्रहलाद भक्त प्रहलाद जय भक्त प्रहलाद प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय
Thank you, Abhay Prabhu. That was wonderful, Kirtan. So with that, we'll conclude the program for today. Thank you, everyone. Please join on the Sunday feast program with the continuation of this glorification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.